What unfolded in this exchange between Rep. Pramila Jayapal and FBI Director Kash Patel wasn't just a tense back and forth. It was a revealing moment about the shifting narratives, the broken promises, and the political gravity surrounding the Epstein files. Before Patel took leadership at the FBI, he was loudly demanding transparency. He told conservative media that the Epstein Black Book was under the direct control of the FBI director.
Questions recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information, we're gonna give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are refusing to answer the question, so let me tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the survivors, and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to invite all investigative leads. Is the answer yes or no
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any people on your side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the stats. And you talk about cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you talk about cover-ups.
And I will take as much time as I want.
Where were you during the Obama and Biden administrations when these so-called cover-ups were going on? Why didn't anyone in those administrations talk to any of these purported witnesses? I have
some regular order,
every single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm going to take another couple of minutes.
When you accuse the witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works.
Listen, he didn't even, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you have always been fair, but this is not fair. No, this is my time, and he said that the witnesses were not credible.
Seconds of time.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because that's how much time he took.
You won't get a minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how much time you get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing sexual trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm commenting on the evidence we have. We have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence, and we will look at it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and Obama Justice Departments had. And they determined, not me, they determined that that information was not credible.
Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says, but that doesn't mean you get to interrupt him.
He's not answering my question.
Mr. Chairman, could we restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she can
We'll give her additional 30 seconds, which is what I said earlier.
I'm going to keep taking my time because
you'll take the time that you get.
You are not answering the question. The question is,
you just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no answer.
I have answered the question.
Well, what is the answer?
I'm telling you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this case. This administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this case.
Is there a yes or no to
present new credible information? Present new information.
Are the victims credible or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump administration.
Are they credible or not? You can't even say.
Victims credibly came forward, and you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments of Jeffrey Epstein.
Called them
not Biden,
a hoax.
not Obama.
President Trump
no one else.
called the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
the gentlelady's time has expired. I gave her the additional 45 seconds she requested. The gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for his 5 minutes.
If you would meet with the women who were sexually abused and raped and groomed at the ages of 14 and 16 years old. Are you going to cover up? Are you going to continue to cover up for the rich and powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell too, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to yell.
He publicly called for identifying who the pedophiles are. He promised repeatedly that under his watch, there would be no cover-ups. He told Joe Rogan he would release every single thing we have and can. But then something changed dramatically. Within weeks of those promises, Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi released a single tightly scripted video insisting there was nothing more to disclose. Despite claiming to have uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data, their July memo said that no further disclosure would be appropriate. That's not just a policy shift, that's an about-face from the transparency they pledged. And Jayapal called it out. Her question was simple. If Patel never discussed the Epstein files with Donald Trump, as he testified, then did Attorney General Bondi speak to Trump? Jayapal asked this because major reporting indicated Bondi did privately inform Trump that his name appeared in the files and that DOJ did not intend to release them. That's not a minor allegation. That suggests political self-protection may have shaped decisions about disclosure. But Patel refused to answer, not because he didn't know, but because he simply would not say. It's this stonewalling that set the tone for the rest of the confrontation. And then Jayapal raised something deeper, the credibility of survivors. These are women who were groomed, trafficked, and raped as minors, some as young as 14, who traveled to Washington seeking accountability. They wanted a meeting with the FBI director. They wanted their voices in the room. They wanted to be heard by the people who insist they're welcoming new information. Patel has never met them. It's a contradiction viewers need to understand. You cannot invite victims to come forward and then refuse to meet the very people who already have. When Jayapal asked Patel whether the victims were credible, he dodged again. He didn't give a straight yes or no, despite the emotional weight of the question. Instead, he pivoted to partisan attacks, accusing Jayapal of ignoring alleged cover-ups under Obama and Biden. A director of the FBI, the highest law enforcement office in the country, responded to a question about minors being raped by weaponizing political talking points. That moment matters, because when an institution charged with protecting children responds defensively rather than directly, the public has reason to question motives, transparency, and leadership. What also emerged in this hearing is how the committee itself fractures under political pressure. Republicans repeatedly tried to cut off Jayapal's questioning, limit her time, and interrupt the direction of the inquiry. Patel momentarily launched into a personal attack mid-answer. The chairman chastised Jayapal rather than the witness. It became a procedural tug-of-war, but at the heart of this tension sits a simple truth. Victims of Epstein's trafficking ring deserve clarity, and the American people deserve transparency. Jayapal's final question, are the victims credible, is one that should not require a tug-of-war to answer. It speaks to a larger problem. When accountability intersects with political risk, clarity becomes elusive. Viewers should walk away understanding this. This isn't just about Patel or Bondi or Jayapal. It's about what happens when government institutions make promises of transparency but retreat the moment powerful names enter the equation. It's about how survivors are still fighting for recognition decades later. It's about how the Epstein case remains shrouded in secrecy despite years of public demand for accountability. And it's about how oversight, real oversight, is essential to democracy, especially when the subjects are wealthy, connected, or politically influential. Stay engaged, stay critical, and stay informed, because transparency isn't something we receive, it's something we have to demand.